is April Nicole. So I am going to answer another question that I get asked all the time, which is, what is my concealed carry weapon and what do I recommend as a concealed carry weapon, especially for women? So let me start from the beginning. So my first gun ever was, and don't worry, they're all completely unloaded. I checked them all before I started the video. So everything here is safe. I don't do any crazy stuff here, okay? So here we go. So this was my first gun ever. It's the USP Compact from HK. It is a 45. So as you can tell, being that it's a 45, and even though it says USP Compact, it's not that compact. This is the one I carry now. It's the SIG P238. So as you can tell, it's much, much bigger than this one. But I learned to shoot on a 45, so that's what I was comfortable with. So this is, at the time, was the smallest 45 that you can get from HK. So this is what I had. Of course, as you can tell, I'm a small female. So for me to try an appendix carry this thing, it was kind of impossible. It was pretty heavy, especially when it was loaded with ammo. So it just kind of became too cumbersome and it didn't allow me enough options, I felt like, for me to carry this as an everyday carry. So being that HK is my favorite manufacturer, I was like, hey, you know, let's go to something smaller. So we went to the VP9SK. Only problem here for me was that it does not have an external safety. It does carry 9mm rounds instead of the 45, but I did love it. But it's quite a bit smaller than this one, as you can see. But it's still a lot bigger than this one, especially when you look at it from the side. The width as well as the length is much bigger. So even this one, though, is much smaller and more feasible, it still didn't fit quite in fanny packs and on my appendix as discreetly as I would like. So I went to the gun store, was like, hey, what can I find? And I ended up with the SIG P238, which I love. It shoots 380 rounds. Doesn't hold as many as the other two, but it's very, very small. It fits in fanny packs. It fits in my tiny little purses. I can very discreetly carry it as an appendix carry if I so choose, without any problems at all. And this one does have the external safety on it, which was kind of important to me, especially when I'm appendix carrying, just because I think in the heat of the moment, if you, in any reason, like pull, you know, your finger onto the trigger, which you should never do, but in the heat of the moment, if you did that, it's not going to go off. And also I was used to the external safety, so for me it wasn't an issue. So yeah, that's how I started out. You can see kind of the so for the ladies who may not be real familiar with guns, here's the difference. I got the bullets here for you so I can kind of show you a size comparison. This is what I started with, which was the 45 bullet. The 9mm was the HK one, which was second, and then this one's the 380. So it's much smaller. If you can, I don't know if you can see them here. I don't know how to show them to you guys. Let's see. Kind of put them in order. Can you see them there? So it's a much smaller bullet, but you know what? Something that's coming at you at the velocity that these travel at is going to stop somebody from attacking you either way. And honestly, it's whatever you feel most comfortable with. So, you know, it doesn't really matter the size of the bullet in this type of situation. It's whatever's going to stop that threat coming at you is really what's most important, and you feeling comfortable with the weapon that you chose. So a couple important things to consider when you're choosing your first weapon or a concealed carry weapon is, do you want an external safety? For me, that was very important, so that's why I went with the SIG P238. It did have the option for the external safety. Also, what kind of caliber do you want to carry? Like the one I have now is 380. It's obviously a much smaller round than the 45 that I started out with, but it's not that much smaller than the 9mm round. So like I said, it's going to stop the threat one way or another. Also, you want to talk about or think about how many rounds it carries, if that's important to you. Like the one I carry now, it has a capacity for 6, I guess 7 if you have one in the chamber. So that one carries less than what I started out with, but you know, at 7 is better than none. Also, you want to consider how it feels in your hand, because I can recommend something to you all day long, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is what's going to feel good to you or feel comfortable in your hands. So what you want to do is go to a store or a gun range if they have one there, and you actually want to hold the weapon in your hand, and if you can shoot it, even better. That way you can feel what it feels like in your hands, the stability of the weapon, the recoil, and does this feel good to me? Because ultimately, like I said, I can recommend something that works great for me, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work great for you, and it's not going to feel comfortable for you. So All of those things are the top priority, I think, for me. And like I said, you know, to people all the time, there's no such thing as a starter weapon. There's no such thing as a starter gun or a first gun. It's whatever you feel comfortable with, both aesthetically as well as how it feels in your hand, because you're going to want to like it. What, by looking at it, you want to be like, yeah, that's my gun, it's awesome. And then you also want to like the way it feels in your hand, and you want it to be reliable. So for me, those are the top criteria. If you guys have any other comments or suggestions for people, feel free to leave it in the comments here, because I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just a civilian. I'm a mom, I'm a nurse, I'm a wife. So I mean, I speak solely from a perspective of an everyday civilian, not an expert, but I'm just trying to tell you guys what's worked for me and the little things that I've learned along the way, so that hopefully some of these things can help you in your journey to hopefully concealed carry, but being a responsible gun owner. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. And if there's any other content you want me to create for you, please let me know, because I don't know what you guys want to see. So thank you so much. We'll see you.